All right, fine. Okay, Wycliffe Room. So there's a little bit to say on maintenance here. First of all, this hole here in the plasterwork, that is now ready to be made good. And I have put that on Joe Michael's radar. But Joe is a very busy guy, but he is the right guy to be doing that. It's not a particularly easy job to do, but it's ready to do. The leak is definitely solved. There is no leak. That's been dealt with. We just need to make it good and paint it. But get somebody in to do it, that's fine. So here in the corner, we've got a quantity of staging that we use. And if we're going to make a choice, if we wish to make a choice, then we could dispose of that without really massively affecting the work of the church. But by the same token, it's not really doing anybody any harm stuck there in the corner. But it's not something we use very often. But of course, when we do use it, it's the most essential thing in the world. The two blue panels there, they are there to put up in front of the kitchen. So if you've got exams or what have you, then those two panels would go up there. And each panel is specific to which side it goes on, and they are marked in that regard. Okay. Windows are fine, no leaks or anything, but it's pretty obvious that the glass is blown, the seal has been blown on the double glazing for years, many years, but we just leave it. That's why they don't look so good, and there's condensation in them and all the rest of it, but hey ho. Spotlights on the ceiling, they're controlled with a little remote controller that are in the white marked box in my office above my desk with all the various remote controls for this room. And it is important that that box is kept where it is, because otherwise the remotes just go missing. But that is how the spotlights are switched on and off there. We did have an issue with rain coming in here and here. Now that issue has been resolved by me insofar as I have put sheeting across the vents there and just weighed them down with sandbags rather than spend hundreds of pounds up on the roof there. But that is how that's been resolved. The roof here is more than strong enough to walk on, and the access to the roof is by two ladders from the front of the church onto the porch above the weekday entrance, and then another ladder from the weekday entrance up onto the roof. And the roof is a very useful place to be in terms of looking at the rest of the building, the church roof, all that sort of stuff. That is fine. The AV, well, here is the AV system. It's fine, it works well, it's popular and being used a lot. Occasionally somebody might have a ball or something that will knock that off, but one of the ladders we've got is sufficient enough to get up there, and then you just have to work with somebody to adjust it back so the projector is square on the screen. There's not a lot to say really. So heating, okay, fine. So again, heating is a bit knackered in here, but does work, and that is a hot water heating system. In particular, the heater, you can't see it, but just behind Paul's head and behind these chairs here, that is a little bit noisy, that heater, but with the judicious application of a bolt or what have you into the fins of the cover, it will stop the rattling and make a big difference actually. So it's just how it has to be, really. So people will continually fiddle with the heaters in this room, which is a little bit frustrating, but Steve does know how they're meant to be, that they should be showing this A3 in the display of the heater. And if they're showing A3 in the display of the heater, it means that they're ready to work with the thermostat and with the timer for the heating, and that they will come on and off on the times that we wish. Again, because it's a hot water system, you need to give some leeway for the water to heat. So if you want the room to be warm at 8, then you really should be setting for half an hour or so before that, because it'll take a little bit of time to do that. But bottom line is, if these heaters are showing A3 in the display, then don't touch them, don't switch them off, don't fiddle around with the display, and that is great.